an hour. It's really special to be able to look live this morning on such a day.
Yeah, there will be ceremonies here in Oklahoma as well coming up in just a little bit. Welcome back to News 9. It's just a few minutes after 9 a.m. on this Memorial Day, but we do want you to know there is work taking place at our state capitol. After months of back and forth, the House and Senate reached an agreement on the state budget for the 2025 fiscal year.
Now state lawmakers will finalize where about $12.5 billion state dollars will go. That is the big question. As always, our Capitol reporter Haley Wager breaks it down for us. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Of course, happy to be here with you guys.
What do you know on this big topic?
Okay, I wish I had all the numbers memorized, but I do not, so I have my computer here. So we're looking at about $12.47 billion for 2025. That's about a $700 million decrease from last year. Last year was about $13.18 billion. They were given a total of about $13.2 billion to spend this year, but one of the Senate's big topics was putting $1 billion in cash into savings. So they got to do that this year. So that was, yeah.
I asked you when you came out here, I'm like, who caved? Because it seemed like there's been this thing between the governor and Senate Leader Treat. And neither one of them wanted to kind of budge. But they did shake hands and they came to an agreement. And I said, who caved? What was your response on that?
Really no one. It got to a point where they were running out of time. You know, this Friday is the deadline. So they came in last Tuesday and the governor said, I will agree not to veto the budget if you guys come to an agreement today. And he gave them, I think, 4 things that they needed to have in there. And that was the big, sticking point for the Senate. They had claimed that the House and governor were working behind the scenes to not veto override. And they were worried, they weren't going to get their priorities in there. So when the governor came in last Tuesday, it took less than 4 hours and we had an agreement. They all shook hands and now we're just working through it.
The Senate spoke a lot about transparency. What's different this year?
So I think the biggest thing was journalists and the public got to see everything from start to finish. You got to see the agencies come into the Senate and give their requests, say why they wanted, however much money, all the way through till I think there was 8 budget summits between the Senate, House, and governor. So we got to see all of that from start to finish and really see what lawmakers go through behind the scenes to have the final budget.
What about tax breaks for folks who are watching, just good old Oklahomans out there, because it's all about the dollar and pocketbooks for Oklahoma. What breaks will Oklahomans receive? So
the biggest one is that grocery tax. They removed the state portion of the grocery tax, so you're going to be saving money every time you go to the grocery store. That's supposed to kick in around November of this year. The House and governor had been pushing for that personal income tax. That obviously did not happen this year. So we'll see. They may call a special session. Stitt at this point has said he's not planning on it, but you never know. So.
Okay, I know there's still a few steps before that budget is passed. So what is next?
So today, the House, like you said, the House and Senate are going in today. The Senate goes in at 2, the House goes in at 4. And they will go through, it's called JCAB, the Joint Committee on Appropriations and Budget. They'll have everyone look at the actual budget bills.
Final wording,
make sure everything's good to go. They'll vote on that and it will move to